Here's Miss Buffoonery.
Okay. Mayor Baas.
Mayor Baas.
Oh my
Any
God.
comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor Bass, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
They have custody.
Wow.
So the Border Patrol agents had been there. They were escorting her out of their area where they were getting ready to do operations. And she's trying to grandstand it like the fool she is. And it's 100%, 1,000% out of shape. It's flat unbelievable what's going on here. But be it as we may, and I see, well, my camera's in front of me. This is nice. Well, blocks my nice smiling face. But what the heck? That's why we call her Buffoon Bass. She definitely is 1,000% out of control. Woman in Silver Lakes gets beat by Vagrant. KTLA 5 report.
Woman walking in her neighborhood. She says she was attacked for no reason at all. The victim is speaking out tonight about the ordeal and says she wants to see changes.
Now let's go to Rachel Menitoff. She spoke with the woman and is live for us in Los Feliz with more. Rachel?
Rick, Karine, good evening to you both. The victim says if it happened to her, it could happen to other people. And she also wants to hold her elected officials accountable. She says ever since her attack, she's had to deal with a lot of bureaucracy instead of focusing on her own recovery and healing.
He was running down this direction.
Donna DeChristopher recalling the moment a transient man charged toward her and punched her repeatedly in her typically very walkable Los Feliz neighborhood.
He hit me 3 to 4 times in my eye. Everything went like kind of like a bright white and then dark. And then the next thing I was on the ground and it felt like I was underwater.
DeChristopher says as a result, she's suffering from a concussion, a broken nose, and complications to her eye, not to mention the psychological distress. She believes her attacker resides in a nearby homeless encampment.
All right. Silver Lake's one of your ritzier neighborhoods in LA. You're not most Silver Lake residents are pretty well off, high-priced real estate. They voted for Nithya Raman, a radical communist freak, again for council. So they deserve this. Lady, you probably voted for Nithya Raman. Then you're saying, oh, our politicians failed you. Then why are you electing the ding-dongs of the ding-dongs? Get off your ass and get in there and get in the political game unless you want your face bashed in and you want to live in Silver Lakes like this. Get off the emotional crap and say, we're not putting up with this crap anymore. We're sending Trump in with the ICE and the Border Patrol and the figures out, whoever, state, city, cleanup crews, this stuff gets cleaned up immediately. As soon as one guy goes in, they're out there moving his ass off. It's a public place. They don't need to be there. It's not a living quarters. Get them the hell out. Start demanding that, and then maybe, lady, you won't get your face bashed in. There will be sympathy and tears. I'm getting tired of this crap. Chris Christie was on This Week. Well, let's just run a little bit, but we'll hit a little bit more when we get on later in the show.
Energy front, the fact of the matter is that people don't feel, despite some other indications, the climate change issue in the way that Democrats would like them to.
Yes, because the way Democrats would like them to feel it is unrealistic. And he goes on to punk Donna Brazil, who's wearing pink today. More on this later. Got to agree with Musk on this. The whole Epstein thing and whether that memo that was leaked is fake or not or whatever's going on. Whatever's going on with this Epstein stuff and the clients list and what's going on, it needs to come out. If Matt Gaetz was Attorney General, this stuff would be flying. We may deal with a little bit more of this, maybe not today, but later on the week. Bondi, Dan Bongino, and I know a lot of you guys like that Bongino guy. You're seeing what a deep state kiss ass he is. Oh, Epstein committed suicide. And I'm disappointed in Kash Patel. I had more faith in him too. He needs, they all, Patel, Bongino, Bondi, need to get off the stick on this deal. We need to stop protecting intelligence guys or whoever did this. Teachers are 100% political. This is the National Teachers Association 2025 Teacher of the Year.
Paying attention, once I realized how deeply political our profession had always been, I knew I could no longer stay on the sidelines.
That's from the Teacher of the Year from the National Education Association. How political our profession has been forever. So, again, if you don't want to talk politics or should be out of this or not in the schools, well, your kids are getting taught it by teachers, whether you know it or not, or like it or not, it's happening. So if you're agreeing with them being made stupid, they can't even tell you that we, the United States, broke from Great Britain with the Declaration of Independence in 1776. 57 frickin' percent of years on down, and it gets worse as you get younger. Your kids probably don't even know if they're in school now. Probably 2% of them, and them are homeschooled. Get off the stick. Scott Raskin's a real hero. He rescued 150, 200 kids in that tragedy down in Texas in the flooding. The rats in the dominant media tried blaming it on, oh, because Trump is, jeez. It's a natural disaster, people. But heroes like Scott Raskin, here he is on ABC7 this week.
As far as like first responders go, so yeah, I had about 200 kids mostly, all scared, terrified, cold, having probably the worst day of their life, and I just kind of needed to triage them, get them to a higher level of care, and get them off the flood zone with a lot of the US-60 Army helicopters. United States Army National Guard was landing their 60s with Task Force 1, some of their rescue swimmers, and they were able to land. We kind of came up with two different landing zones. There was one off an archery field and then one at a soccer field. So yeah, we were able to kind of land those 60s in there. And then I was kind of the main guy as far as like grabbing people, usually like 15 to 10 kids at a time, maybe one adult with them, and bringing them over to those 60s and getting them to a different LZ that was kind of safe. And
so you had Coast Guard, military operations. For those of you who say, oh, military can't be, shut up. Well, you don't want them to go in and save people, save kids. Last report I said 10 kids are still missing, 2 adults. What is it, 80 or so on the death count in that camp. Summer camp, kids were just having fun. And that is a tragedy of all tragedies going on. Man walked into Border Patrol and shot at the Border Patrol in Texas. Caroline Levitt got a question at her press briefing at the White House. Here we go.
Texas after opening fire on Border Patrol agents. It comes just days after Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal recently said she gets, quote, inspired when activists obstruct ICE. Does the White House expect Democrats to tone down their rhetoric in light of what we saw today in McAllen, Texas?
We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the United States Border Patrol. These are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do their job to enforce the law. They go home to their families every night just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to remove public safety threats from our communities. The White House is aware of the shooting that took place today in Texas, and we are working with the appropriate federal agencies to get to the bottom of what happened.
If they don't think this whole deal is not 1,000% a ridiculous caused by our idiotic mainstream mockingbird piece of ass media and the center left and the kooks and the buffoon Baases who said go out and stir that up like she was doing down in LA. You got guys walking into Texas Border Patrol agency firing. Good riddance, that piece of ass. They killed him deader than a frickin' doornail. We got to toughen up our act severely. Lots of other local news coming on that. We'll have Dr. Kelly and more. There's Funky Soul Live guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live on the Evil FB Network, X, Rumble, YouTube, and the Roy Blecker channel. All that good stuff. Kelly Victory should be on in a few minutes, a little after 5:30 when they join the Mighty Met KMET 1490 AM. We all usually do it on Monday through Friday. Lots of stuff going on. That whole Epstein, that needs to be cleaned up. Figure out what's going on. We don't need to be played. Buffoon Baas getting let off by the Border Patrol, and then she said, oh, they need to be out of here. No, they need to be in here so that young lady doesn't get her face bashed in Silver Lake, for Christ's sakes. Wanted to get to this because this was very unusual. Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey, rather large man. Trump's pointed that out a few times. He said, drill, baby, drill. And he backed up George Yes and the pink lady, Donna Brazil, on This Week, yesterday, in a kind of stunning reversal.
One place where I'll disagree with Donna is, look, on the energy front, the fact of the matter is that people don't feel, despite some other indications, the climate change issue in the way that Democrats would like them to. But they do recognize the price at the pump. Now, Don, I'm not saying there isn't evidence of it, but I'm saying they don't feel it. And what matters in politics is, what do you feel?
You don't feel it?
You don't feel it? You don't feel it, Christy? She was doing the hand gesture. You could tell she's she's about ready to frickin' lose it. Because her whole climate change BS that when she was working for CNN, gave Hillary Clinton, because she used to work on the staff, all the questions when she debated Trump in the campaign in 2016. So we know she's a lying, conniving witch. It's my opinion. Ooh, here we go.
I feel it every day. I feel it whether I'm walking in the streets or I feel it when I watch the news. You feel it. Chris, you feel it in the electricity bills that are going to go up. Utility bills will go up for every American. They're going to feel it. And all these extreme weather events all across America. 20 years ago, Katrina decimated the Gulf Coast. We're going to see more Katrinas as you've seen over the last 10 years. You were a governor during Sandy. You know that these weather events are getting worse by the day.
First of all,
a heat dome that sits in America for days at a time. People feeling it, Chris.
Well, they're
Oh yeah, they're feeling the energy prices of this wet solar dream and all this crap. And oh, we ain't gonna drill and we're all gonna die of diesel smoke, jacking the gas prices up, natural gas. Now we're not exporting it, which was making us under Trump 0.10 very rich. And this yo-yo witch dressed in pink is still trying to she wants to keep you on the plantation, as Mason Weaver said.
They're not feeling it politically, Donna. And first of all, I'll never believe that Sandy was created by climate change. But secondly, on the issue of electricity bills, let me tell you why electricity bills are going up in my state of New Jersey. The reason they're going up is a failed energy master plan that the governor put in place there that is giving us the biggest increases we're going to see in a long time in New Jersey because they've been unwilling to tap natural gas from Pennsylvania to come to New Jersey over the last 8 years.
They have not tapped natural gas that could make energy cheap for the people of New Jersey and everywhere else. Newsom's capped oil wants to close existing ones. Till the other day, now he's trying to reverse course. Chris Christie, drill, baby, drill. It's not because of climate change, and solar is not going to save us. Solar, look at Germany and France and England and everybody that's tried that solar energy, wind, all that stuff. Now they're screwed. The people are screwed. Germany has to buy coal from frickin' Russia to run their electricity plants because they closed down their nuclear because, they're going to kill everybody. We could have, between nuclear and natural gas and clean coal, as Trump said, we should have the cheapest frickin' electricity prices in the world. You wouldn't even turn off the lights because it would take too much energy that you would have to consume in food to go up there and get up and turn off the switch. Chris Christie saying electricity is high because we're not drill, baby, drill. And he's exactly right. 1,952% correct.
We have to be practical about this.
What's your beef with solar? What's your beef with solar?
Let me tell you something.
Wind energy. What's your
Donna, let me
beef
say
with
this.
renewables?
Look, here's my beef. My beef is for 8 years, I put more solar energy in place in New Jersey than any governor before me. And you know what? It took care of about 2% of the load that we need to get to turn.
2%? He bought into it, remember, and Trump is evil, and he's supposed to be the Republican Democrats all hailed as, Christie's this and that, all the never-Trumpers, Lincoln Project, and all the other idiots. Oh, yeah, we got to have 2% load. 2%.
Turn air conditioning on in the summer. The fact is that we can continue to work on renewables, and I think we should, but they are nowhere near ready to take the capacity that America needs economically and from a social perspective to keep
But
people
this bill
safe.
will set us back even on those standards and back.
But this bill, we said it back. Shut up. Donna Brazil, the Mockingbird media, the eco freaks, the scare tactics. Nobody has been more full of ass than these people. The anorexic broad that's in there, oh, we're all going to die. How dare you, or whatever the hell she said. And this Klondike when every sticking piece of evidence is showing that they're wrong, they are still going to screw you. It's almost 1,000% flippin' believable. To have to pay attention to nimrods like Donna Brazil, it's beyond stunning. It's I don't even know what the word, I'm running out of words to explain the stupidity, the arrogance, the idiocracy of a fool like this. It'll be absolutely off the charts. You know, and I hope Donna and the crew keep on this. They will experience, the center-left kooks will find the biggest defeat that they have ever had. Bar none. Bar absolutely none. In the midterms that have never happened. What? I think George Bush was the last one to gain seats in the House in midterms. They keep up with this, Trump might blow them frickin' in the weed. So in a way, I still encourage Donna Brazil. At least Chris Christie's off the bandwagon of Trump haters. Or first, at least he's admitting his policies are correct.
About 30 seconds, Roy.
As Sean said, we'll be joining the Mighty Red KMET 1490 AM. Hopefully Dr. Kelly will call in. We'll maybe get her thoughts on this. And a lot of other stuff. It'll be fun. Got a half hour to go. We'll touch on some of the local news too, which hardly anybody else does. We're trying to bring back a little continuity in the community.
Here we go, 10 seconds.
Those who support America, patriotswitch.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station.
There's funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience, the Evil Hippie Network, Rex, Rumble, YouTube on the Roy Bluckert channel, all that good stuff. Buffoon Baas is out there saying, as she's getting escorted out away from their staging area, and she's trying, well, they need to be out of here. No, because we had the Silver Lakes, lady in Silver Lakes, very ritzy area, high real estate, got her face bashed in. Vagrants, illegals, man, and I hope they keep it up. Like Donna Brazil, we'll get to that in a second. On this week, it's absolutely stunning. Check out, if you go back to the video, check out the head-on collision cops did. Arkansas cops got the right idea, stopping all this mayhem that's going on in the streets. But as we usually do on a Monday, we have, as I've determined her, the supreme physician and all the world expert on COVID-19 and just about everything else, Dr. Kelly Victory. Welcome to iNewsWire with Roy.
Hey, always good to be with you, Roy. Thanks for having me.
We ran the Chris Christie, who was on this week with George Stephanopoulos and Donna Brazil. Chris Christie, they were going on about climate change and this and that. Chris Christie said the reason New Jersey, because Brazil's going, oh, it's climate change and we solar and all this stuff. We got it. That's why our electricity prices are high. And Chris Christie said, no, in New Jersey they're high because we're not drilling in Pennsylvania and we don't have a natural gas supply, which would provide New Jerseyans with cheap electrical power. I almost, as bad a Trump hater as Chris Christie did, when he's admitting what went on, and that was one of the biggest reasons Trump in 1.0 was unleashing drill baby drill, and especially natural gas, which we were exporting all over the world. That was helping our trade deficit, our economic stuff, and everything else. And he punked Donna Brazil on the air and George Stephanopoulos. It was absolutely fabulous, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree with you. And by the way, from an energy perspective, Donald Trump looks at things like a businessman, and that's what I love about him. Lots of things to dislike about him, including him, bombastic rhetoric that he has. But the reality is he's a businessman, and he understands that one of the most critical things for us is to be energy independent. So he's been spot on energy all day long. Chris Christie, I don't even know what to say about. Chris Christie had an opportunity to really engender himself to not only the Trump administration, but to the conservative movement. And he has really done pretty much everything he could to screw up every step of the way. I'm not sure what his issue is, but he seems to get it wrong, every time. But with regard to energy, I will trust Donald Trump all day long. He's on the right track, and I think we're doing the right things.
1,000%. I mean, like I say, and as you said, as big a Trump hater as Chris Christie is, I mean, he had to, I'm sure his rear end was puckering while he was saying that, because I'm sure it pained him to say that on national TV on that. But it was exactly right. And he went on to point out when Brazil started off again, he said, I was big on the solar, put it all in, thought we were going to do it. It provided 2% capacity load for New Jersey. Now, and this is what, if Donna Brazil and the whole eco-freak crowd want to go on this, then I want them to cut down just do it for a week. Cut down 98.7% of your electricity usage and see what it's like. Because that's what your wet solar wind dream is going to provide you, Dr. Kelly.
No question. Listen, I spend a lot of my time in Southern California where we have these windmill farms. It doesn't do anything. The economics of it, Roy, is that it takes up massive amounts of real estate and it produces very little. I'm not so worried about the idea that windmills actually kill birds or whatever else. They probably do some of that. But the reality is it simply isn't an economic win. Likewise, the issue of, let's look at recycling. There's a big fraud. You spend all your time separating out your, Diet Coke cans from your aluminum foil, from your plastic. And let me tell you something. When the guys from Waste Management come along, they pick it up, they dump it all into the same bin. It's a big fraud. It's a big, fat fraud. I've been saying it for over a decade and a half. The reality is that, and anybody who says, oh, don't you recycle? No, I don't. It actually causes, a bigger carbon footprint to, quote, recycle, and they aren't doing it. They simply don't do it. When they say that they are in your, a town near you.
I can attest to that because Waste Management does ours here in Moval in the Inland Empire of California. And they told me exactly the same thing. They said, put all whatever, they told me this, put whatever what you want and whatever can you want, because it all goes in the same pile. We don't segregate
exactly.
It's 100% fraud to the max. I want to get to this one because this hit my radar screen. National Education Association Teacher of the Year 2025. And if you think your kids, especially all you moms out there who get on there, oh, I don't want to talk politics or I don't want to talk in my schools and all this. Listen to the National Education Association 2025 Teacher of the Year.
I started paying attention once I realized how deeply political our profession had always been. I knew I could no longer stay on the sidelines. So I got involved.
Notice how she said how deeply involved in politics our profession has always been. This is from the National Education Association Teacher of the Year 2025. So this is what I'm saying. If you want your kids to be educated politically by your schools and not you, then go ahead and keep doing what you're doing, and they'll be complete imbeciles like they're turning them out now, Dr. Kelly.
There's no question that one of the biggest problems we have right now, Roy, is that our school system has taken over where parenting should be. And parents have been led to believe that they are wrong if they try to interfere with what it is that the school is doing or teaching. We have got to give parenting back to parents. The school is there to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. Values are something that should be taught by parents. That those sorts of things, whether it's religion, ethics, morality, those sorts of things should be taught by the family, by the parents, not by the schools. We have got to stop allowing these woke individuals who parade as educators to have control of our children. This is really where the transgender movement went awry. We would not be in the bind that we are in with regard to transgender issues if we had really allowed parents to maintain control.
1,000%, and that's where I was going with this. This whole tranny deal, boys and girls sports in their locker rooms and their bathrooms and the whole thing, this is all political. This is made to break down the family and break down the trust between the kids and their parents, so they follow the government. She's exactly right. I'm glad she admitted it, because now we have unconclusive proof. So anybody that wants to do that, if you want, look, what is it, the Gallup poll from Gen Z down, and gets worse, the kids in school. 57% of Gen Zers on down could not tell you who we separated from on July 4th in 1776 with the Declaration of Independence. 57 freaking percent, and it goes up higher. I think kids in school, it's almost 70%. No wonder we're in a crisis. Employers, another one, I'll get to it later in the week. Employers are firing Gen Zers by the droves because mainly they can't do the job, Dr. Kelly.
No, we really are in a bad situation here. When you get back to the issue of civics, understanding, you cannot have national pride, Roy, if you don't understand where your nation came from. And although we all sit back and laugh about it when somebody like a Jesse Waters on Fox News, does the walkabout in Myrtle Beach on spring break or New York City and asks the most basic of questions like, okay, it's 4th of July, you're out here celebrating. Who is it that we fought from? Who did we get our independence from? And you've got college graduates, college students saying China, France. They have no idea. And we all laugh about it, but it is not funny. It is absolutely devastating to the future of this country. We cannot have people, we can't have kids, we cannot have a generation that doesn't understand where we came from. It is truly, we have got to return, in addition to physical education, so we can deal with the obesity issue, we have got to return civics to this country so that kids understand where we came from, why we are as exceptional as we are as a country, and why you should fight and have a dog in this fight to make sure that we don't give it up.
Switching gears a tad again, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, or whatever his name is, and Gulag Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, were on. They're talking about, well, there was no evidence that the vax was going to protect you or anybody else of that. You gotta hear this. This is absolutely stunning.
Unfortunate, frankly, and this was a communications problem, was that they seemed to also intimate that it would protect you from getting COVID at all, from carrying it. And there was not great evidence behind that. And, we reported as such that you don't have great evidence that shows that. When you have a vaccine that's protecting it against...
Shut up. How many times did this clown Gupta and Gulag Gavin Newsom every day for a year and a half, or what it is, was telling us, we're going to kill our family. If you get the vax, you can't get it. You can't get it. You can't spread it. And day after day after day. Lack of communication. Holy cow. The hubris of these guys is stunning, Dr. Kelly.
100%. These are the people, and they want to memory hole this whole thing. The reality is the internet is forever. These are the same people. It's the Rachel Maddow saying, if you get vaccinated, you can't get it. You can't spread it. All of this. They said it over and over again, and they would all like you to believe that they didn't say those things, that they were somehow moderate, that they didn't push for the lockdown, for the closure of schools, for the idea that neighbors should rat out neighbors if they had more than, the mandated number of people at their holiday barbecue or whatever it was. But the reality is we can't let them do that. We cannot allow them to memory hole those things. We cannot allow them to get away with this, insanity, because the reality is they were really participant in a horrendous thing that happened to this country. And it's going to take us a long time to get over it.
1,000%. I mean, why not just own up to it? I mean, you might. I mean, I might give them. I would have a little bit of respect for these two clowns if they just said, we were really conning you this whole time, and hey, now we're caught. At least they would have some credibility going forward. To double down and to just sit in the camera, and like you say, forever history, and sit there and lie time and time again, saying they said exactly 180 degrees opposite today of what they said all during COVID, scaring people to death, but causing undue harm to how many millions of people and deaths and everything else. And as we've said, you said specifically more, the damage of the whole COVID con is going to be played out in the next 10 to 20 years, and it's not going to be pretty, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree. And I think that ultimately the truth will become more and more clear. Unfortunately, I fear that we will never have true accountability, Roy. People, we've seen so much that we wanted to happen in this new administration. They're making strides. Certainly, Bobby Kennedy has, done some very important things like replacing the entire advisory committee on immunization practices, those sorts of things. But the reality is many people are going to skate free, and you've got to get your arms around that. I struggle with it every day because I want accountability, but the reality is it is not likely to happen.
We got a couple minutes left. Anything else on the radar screen our audience should be aware of?
Yeah, I think that one of the most important things that we are seeing is, once again, there's just indefatigable interest in doubling down on fear. If you haven't heard about the most recent COVID variant, Nimbus 1.8.1, also known as razor blade throat. In other words, you should be very fearful and run out and get a booster. This is insanity. As we predicted, it happens with all viruses, COVID has continued to mutate. It has become less and less severe, more virulent, and apparently the most recent variant called Nimbus causes a significant sore throat. It is highly treatable with simple things like ivermectin, xylitol, gargles, and nose sprays, and there's absolutely no reason to be concerned, certainly no reason to get a booster, because the boosters are all outdated and don't have any chance of decreasing your risk of contracting COVID. But be aware they are continuing to double down on fear tactics. It's tried and true, and it's their go-to game plan.
Thanks for being on, Dr. Kelly. We'll do this again soon.
Sounds great.
Dr. Kelly Victory saying it as we say, as only she can. This is it. Never forget. Never forget Newsom's, California. A mom and her 2 little girls on the beach. And he's got the rabid yo-yos out there with the guns and the masks. They go with the Border Patrol about, oh, why are they wearing masks on? What's this clown doing? Never forget this. Ever. Newsom's, California. Emblazon that in your brain. Just like the last clip we had coming in. It was 5,000% stunning. Well, let's see what's on the local genre of news stories. There's a recap of the 4th of July from San Jacinto. Some of that. Love the old 50 Ford out there with that. All the things, and the motor officers and everybody else. And of course, Old Glory with the 50 stars in there. National Night Out is coming. Rancho Cucamonga and Chino Police are preparing for that on August 5th. Coming up for that, so that's always a good thing for most people if you're interested to go check out. Get to mingle with your public safety personnel. Man arrested following a brief police chase in Menifee, where they put out the spike strips and deflated his tires. Women's self-defense course coming July 19th at the Purdue Police Department. So, you ladies, if you don't want your face bashed in, like that lady in Silver Lakes or from the Vagrant, You can take a self-defense course at the San Bernardino Police Department, July 19th. I highly recommend all you ladies take advantage of that. Down in the ravine, down there in the railroad tracks, somebody wound up there in River City. It's by Olivewood and Pachepa. A little bit south of downtown. Those familiar with the area will know where that's at. Harupa Valley cops wanted a domestic violence. This is sometimes they just get lucky. They pull somebody over and boom, run the priors. He's now in the custody of the police. There's a heck of a picture. Fairmont, you want to see something? Fairmont Park, 1953. Totally different than it was 60 plus, getting close to 70 plus years than it is now. And most people don't know, they had the Deanza 5/8 mile dirt track. They ran a few CRA sprint car races in Roswell. It was Roadster Association, California Roadster Association, and Sprint Car Association there. But they did have a 5/8 mile dirt track there in Fairmont Park back in the 50s. There's Deanza Chevrolet back when it was on Market Street. And you could get a signed copy in a picture from Ben Cartwright. I bet you a lot of you don't know who Lauren Green or Ben Cartwright or Bonanza and the whole deal. But go check it out on Start Page or go.go. Marietta Police, and this is something I want to talk about a little bit. They have dedicated guys on DUI patrol. I think that's more effective than the checkpoint deal. And 63rd arrests, they only get like one or two drunks at a checkpoint deal. You'd see the Jack Daniels coming up. And this is the bad thing about mandates from federal government. They have to use it they get the money from the feds, or our money from the feds, and then they have to say they do it from this instead of, and every police department, sheriff's department is different. We need to trust them to do the best with it. I think a lot of them, Murrieta is one of them that's doing it right. Bring back the big hair. We posted that on iNewsWire. That's from back in the 70s and 80s when the big hair craze was popular. Oh, man, there's the Chino Hills, August 5th. They're preparing for that, a national night out. Again, check her out. You won't be disappointed. Fireworks spark a palm tree fire in the ban zone in Purdue. So don't play with the fireworks. Plus, you had that tragedy down in LA where a little girl lost her life over fireworks. Harupa Valley SET team observed unregistered off-highway vehicles on the street. This week, I know a lot of people is becoming a big problem, and you probably really should not do that, even though I did do that back in my day. But there's a lot of those people on the road. Trump derangement syndrome pills. Take 2 and try being American for a change. That was our Saturday morning Mimi that got a lot of attention out there. Quite a week. We'll deal with some more of this stuff like the drill baby drill and the Epstein stuff coming on. But I think that, especially that and Elon really going up back at the America's Party again. And I agree with Trump put it out that, those things, we've had the Reform Party and all that. A lot of different ones that have tried making it, and they usually do fizzle out. It's more of, hey, take things back. Pay attention. Your schools are teaching your kids the politics they want. And at least with boys and girls sports and locker rooms and bathrooms, they're teaching your kids what 70+% of the country says, no way, Jose. So they're going to, if you're not going to teach your kids or say, I don't want to talk politics or all that, it should be in the schools. It is in the schools, and it has been in the schools. It's 100%, pretty much, of what their focus is. Hello for today. We usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here 23 hours live to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The proceeding was a paid program.
All right, Roy, I will talk to you tomorrow.
You got it.